So guys, welcome to our channel once again. Today on our JAMB biology exam revision series, you'll be solving questions on hormonal control. So guys, stay tuned to this channel as we go through these questions one after the other. So feel free to pause this video at any point to try out solving these questions on your own, and after that we'll provide the answer to this question after each of the questions. So guys, stay till the end of this video. We have 36 questions to solve here. So let's start with the first question here. We have a diagram here, and the question says insulin is produced by the endocrine organ labeled A is II, B is III, C is IV, and D is I. So guys, the correct answer to this question is III. This is where you can find the organ or the endocrine organ that produces insulin. So which organ is that? That's the pancreas. The pancreas is actually found around this abdominal region, and that's the organ that produces insulin. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 2. It says the mammalian organ which acts both as a digestive and as an endocrine organ is the A, spleen, B, liver, C, pancreas, D, esophagus. So guys, the answer to this question is pancreas. Pancreas functions as both a digestive organ and an endocrine organ. So how did I know about that? The pancreas releases pancreatic juice, and the pancreatic juice has enzymes that aids in digestion, enzymes that like the pancreatic alpha amylase that helps to break down carbohydrates. So whereas the pancreas also produces insulin from its beta cells, so insulin there is a hormone, and as such pancreas is also functioning as an endocrine organ. So you take note of that. Let's look at the next question, and that's question number 3. So question number 3 says the condition known as cretinism is caused by the deficiency of A, insulin, B, adrenaline, C, thyroxine, D, vitamin A. So guys, the answer to this question is option C, and that's thyroxine. Thyroxine is actually produced in the thyroid gland. So in a situation where you have creatinism, there is existence of stunted growth, that's physically and mentally. So the answer to this question is option C. Let's look at the next question, guys, and that's question number 4. It says which of the following describes the function of thyroid gland? A, it is the gland of emergency. B, controls the production of ACTH. C, regulates the rate of metabolism. And D, stimulates the liver to produce glycogen. So guys, the correct answer to this question is option C, because the thyroid gland has the ability to produce the hormone calcitonin, which plays a role in calcium homeostasis. So guys, this entails that the correct answer to this question is option C. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 5. Question number 5 says use the diagram below to answer this question. So you can see the diagram here. It says insulin is produced by the endocrine organ labeled A, I, B, III, C, IV, and D, II. So guys, the correct answer to this question is III, and that's option B. So like we said earlier on, option B, which is III here, is the region where you find the pancreas, and the pancreas is the organ that is responsible for producing insulin. So let's take note of that. Let's look at the next question, guys, and that's question number 6. It says which of the following is a plant hormone responsible for producing cell elongation and growth? So we have A. Ethylene. B. Abscisic acid. C. Cytokinin. And D. Gibberellins. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's gibberellins. Gibberellins are plant hormones that play a role in promoting cell elongation and growth. So in that case, gibberellins is the correct answer to this question. So the number 7 question here has a diagram. The question says the hormone secreted at IV served to A. Make the body react to emergencies. B. Lower blood glucose level. C. Facilitate development of the facial hairs. D. Raise the level of calcium ions in the blood. So guys, if you look at this question here, you'll see I, and IV. But then the location of the IV here is pointing towards a place here, which confusingly can be regarded as the adrenal gland, because some might see it as being above the kidney, and then others can regard it as the gonads. But then guys, this is the gonads, and it's responsible for the option C, that facilitates the development of facial hair. If it was the adrenal gland, it should be slightly above this level. So this is way below down, and this is the region where you have the gonads, and the gonads are responsible for development of sexual characters, facilitates the development of facial hairs and the rest. So guys, option C is the correct answer to this question. So let's look at the next question, guys. The next question here is question number 8. It says estrogen is a hormone that is synthesized in the A. Anterior pituitary, B. Adrenal cortex, C. Ovaries, D. Testes. So guys, estrogen is produced in the ovaries. So the correct answer to this question is option C. So let's look at the next question, guys. The next question is question 9, and it says if a nursing mother is not producing enough milk, her hormonal system is probably deficient in A. Prolactin, B. Testosterone, C. Thyroxine, and D. Insulin. So guys, prolactin is the hormone that is responsible for milk production. So if a nursing mother does not produce enough milk, definitely the nursing mother is lacking prolactin. So guys, option A is the correct answer to this question. So let's look at the next question here. We have a diagram here, and the question says use the diagram below to answer this question. The part marked I will contain a high concentration of A. Ethylene, B. Oxine, C. Ascorbic acid, and D. Abscisic acid. So guys, the correct answer to this question is option B, and that's oxine. Oxine actually acts on the radical. So when the oxine acts on the radicals, it will increase elongation there. So guys, let's take note of that. Option B is the right answer to this question. So let's look at the next question. We are going to use this diagram to solve the question actually. The question says a hormone secreted at IV serves to A. Raise the level of calcium ion in the blood, B. Lower blood glucose level, C. Make the body react to emergencies, D. Facilitate the development of facial hair. So guys, we've treated this question earlier on, and we know what the answer to this question is, and that's option D. So let's take note of that. The answer to this question is option D, and that's facilitates the development of facial hairs. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question Question number 12. A plant with a relatively short height can be stimulated to grow to normal height by the application of A. Thyroxine, B. Gibberellin, C. Cytokinin, and D. Abscisic acid. So, guys, the answer to this question is gibberellin. Since gibberellin is the plant hormone that stimulates stem elongation, germination, and flowering. So, when gibberellin is actually applied to these plants, it can stimulate its growth and stem elongation. So let's look at the next question. That's question number 13. It says the most important plant hormone is A. Gibberellin, B. Auxin, C. Abscisic acid, D. Cytokinin. So guys, the answer to this question is option B, and that's auxin. So auxins are a class of plant hormone that coordinates many growth and behavioral processes in the plant's life cycle. So they are actually essential for the development of the plants. So guys, auxins are actually the most important of the plant hormones. So guys, let's look at the next question here, and that's question number 14. It says, what is the primary function of the pancreas in the human body? A is reduction of insulin, B is production of red blood cells, C is production of bile, D is production of digestive enzymes. So guys, if you look at the options here, the correct one out of these four options is production of digestive enzymes. So the pancreas produces digestive enzyme. It does not produce bile, it does not produce red blood cell, and it does not reduce insulin. So the answer to this question is option D. So let's look at the next question, guys, and that's question number 15. So guys, question number 15 says, in humans, which of the following hormones corresponds to male and female respectively? So we have progesterone and testosterone, testosterone and estrogen, adrenaline and progesterone, estrogen and adrenaline. So guys, the correct answer to this is option B. Testosterone corresponds to male and estrogen corresponds to females. So in that case, option B is the correct answer. So testosterone and estrogen are actually produced in the gonads of the males and females. So testosterone is produced in the gonads of the male and estrogen is produced in the gonads of the females. So guys, the correct answer to this question is option B. So let's look at the next question. That's question number 16. The question says, the part of the brain that regulates most biological cycle in human is A. Optic lobe, B. Medulla oblongata, C. Olfactory lobe, and D. Pineal body. So, talking about the biological cycles, we talk about cycles like sleep and wake cycle, your breathing in and breathing out, and the rest of them. So, guys, most of these cycles are controlled in the medulla oblongata. So the answer to this question is option B. The medulla oblongata is the area that controls most of the biological cycles. So this medulla oblongata is actually found in the brain stem. So that's where the most of the biological cycles are being controlled from. So the answer to this question is option B, and that's medulla oblongata. So guys, let's look at the next question. That's question number 17. It says, the gland that is found just below the hypothalamus is the A. Pituitary, B. Parathyroid, C. Adrenal, D. thyroid gland. So guys, the answer to this question is pituitary gland. So that's option A. The gland found below the hypothalamus is the pituitary, and that's the gland often referred to as the master gland. The next question, guys. The question says, in humans, which of the following hormones corresponds to male and female respectively? So guys, we've answered this question before. The answer to this question is testosterone and estrogen. So let's look at the next question, and that's question number 19. It says, use the diagram below to answer the question. The function of the structure labeled I is to A. Stimulate development of secondary sexual characters. B. Prepare the body for any emergency. C. Maintain proper glucose concentration in the blood. And D. Regulate the activities of other endocrine glands. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and the gland found around that area is the pituitary gland. This gland regulates the activities of other glands, and that's why it's called the master gland. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 20. So guys, the question says, which gland is responsible for producing the hormone insulin? So option A is pituitary gland, option B is pancreas, option C is adrenal gland, option D is thyroid gland. So guys, the answer to this question is B. Pancreas is responsible for producing the insulin. So guys, let's look at the next question. That's question number 21. It says, the role of ATP include all the following except A. Provision of energy to do work in living organisms. B. Keeping the body warm in homeothermic animals. C. Transmission of nerve impulse. D. Producing water during aerobic respiration. So guys, the correct answer to this question is option D. The ATP is not responsible for producing water during aerobic respiration. So that's the answer to this question. So let's look at the next question, question number 22. The question says, dash in the hypothalamus detects the changes and stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete more antidiuretic hormone. A is osmosender, B is osmosis, C is diffusion, and D is osmoreceptors. So guys, the answer to this question is osmoreceptors. So these osmoreceptors are a kind of sensors that sense concentrations and then helps to regulate the release of antidiuretic hormone. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's osmoreceptors. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 23. It says, the gland directly affecting metabolic rates, growth, and development is known as A. Mammary gland, B. Adrenal gland, C. Parathyroid gland, D. Thyroid gland. Of course, guys, you should have guessed right the answer to this question by now, and that's the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is associated with metabolic rate, growth, and development. So guys, let's quickly look at the next question, and that's question number 24. It says, the effect of prolactin hormone in human is that it A. increase basal metabolic rate, B. stimulates ovulation in females, C. stimulates development of female sex organ, and D. induces milk production in pregnant women. So guys, the correct answer to this question is option D. Prolactin induces production of milk, that it enables the production of milk. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 25. Which of the following is true of leukocytes? A, they are large and nucleated. B, they are respiratory pigments. C, they are mostly numerous and ramify all cells. D, they are involved in blood clotting. So guys, the answer to this question is option A, and that's they are large and nucleated. So the leukocytes are actually the white blood cells, and guys, if you study the properties of the white blood cells, you should know that the white blood cells are actually large and they are nucleated. That means they have nucleus, unlike the red blood cells, which do not possess nucleus. So, guys, the answer to this question is option A. They are large and they are nucleated. So, guys, let's look at the next question. That's question number 26. It says, the hormone that produces secondary sexual characters in females is A, testosterone, B, thyroxine, C, insulin, D, estrogen. So guys, the answer to this question is the estrogen. The estrogen is the hormone that promotes secondary sexual characters in females. So the answer to this question is estrogen. Already you know that testosterone is for the males, so that's not the answer. Thyroxine is for metabolic rates, growth and development, so that's not the answer. Insulin there is for blood glucose level, so that's not the answer. So that, guys, the answer to this question is option D. So take note of that. Let's look at the next question. Question number 27. It says the endocrine gland which coordinates the action of other glands and is also associated with the nervous system is A, adrenal gland, B, pituitary gland, C, thyroid gland, and D, pancreas. So guys, the answer to this question is B, that's the pituitary gland. Remember I told you earlier on that the pituitary gland is called the master gland. It's actually in charge of all the other glands, so it controls other glands and it's called the master gland. So guys, one thing again I need to tell you about the pituitary gland is that the pituitary gland is categorized into the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. So guys, the posterior pituitary gland is associated with the nervous system, so it has its origin from the nervous system. So guys, the answer to this question as such is the option B, and that's the pituitary gland. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 28. It says, which of the following is not a plant hormone? Abscisic acid, pituitary gland, gibberellins, and auxins. So guys, the answer to this question is pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is actually found in animals and not plants. So the pituitary gland is the master gland that we talked about earlier on, and it's not a plant hormone. So guys, let's look at the next question. The question says, the substance that is responsible for optical dominance in plants is known as A, tannin, B, auxins, C, gibberellins, and D, quinine. So guys, the answer to this question is auxins. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 30. The question says, regulation of blood sugar level takes place in the A, liver, B, pancreas, C, ileum, and D, kidney. So guys, the answer to this question is B, and that's pancreas. So the pancreas is responsible for releasing insulin, which actually regulates the blood sugar level or the blood glucose level. So guys, let's look at the next question. That's question number 31. It says, use the diagram below to answer the question. So the question actually says, the part marked I contains high concentration of A, abscisic acid, B, ascorbic acid, C, auxins, and D, ethylene. So guys, the answer to this question is auxin. Like we know, we've answered this question right before now. So let's look at the next question, guys. The next question says, in which part of the human body does the secretion of the growth hormone occurs. So guys, the growth hormone is actually secreted in the anterior pituitary, and this anterior pituitary is found in the head region. So the options we have here is the neck region, the waist region, the gonads, and the head region. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's the head region. The growth hormone is the somatotropin, and it's secreted in the anterior pituitary. So let's look at the next question. That's question number 33. We have a diagram here, and the question says the gland usually found in the position labeled I is the A, pituitary, B, thyroid, C, adrenal, D, pancreatic. So guys, the answer to this question is the pituitary gland, and that's option A. So guys, let's look at the next question. That's question number 34. It says thyroxine and adrenaline are examples of hormones which control A, behavioral patterns, B, tongue rolling, C, color variation, D, blood grouping. So guys, the answer to this question is option A, and that's behavioral pattern. So the thyroxine, remember, actually has an effect on the mental growth. So it controls behavioral pattern, and as well the adrenaline also has an effect on preparing the body for emergency. So these two organs actually has a control on the behavioral pattern. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 35. The question says, which of the following organs secretes substances into the bloodstream of a frightened person? All right, let's look at the option. So option A is salivary gland, option B is parathyroid gland, option C is adrenal gland, and option D is the gastric gland. So guys, the answer to this question is the adrenal glands. The adrenal gland secretes the adrenaline, which is the hormone we call fight or flight hormone. So this hormone usually is secreted into the bloodstream, where it causes a person to be stimulated for danger situations. So it can actually make the person frightened and cause a lot of other effects in response to danger. So this adrenaline is usually released into the bloodstream, so it can cause the heart to start beating fast, you become frightened, a lot of other things that will prepare you to either run away or stand and fight the situation. So guys, that's the adrenaline, also called the epinephrine. So this hormone is produced in the adrenal gland. So guys, you need to always remember this hormone. It's very, very important, guys. This hormone is very, very important, so you need to always remember it. That's why I'm taking time to talk about it. The adrenaline that is secreted by the adrenal glands, and it is usually secreted and taken into the bloodstream. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 36. Question number 36 says, which of the following produces both hormones and enzymes? So guys, we've answered this question before, and the answer to this question is pancreas. That's option B. So guys, we've come to the end of these questions. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe to this channel if you're not yet a subscriber. Also, share this video with your friends so that we can gain more views. Thank you for watching this video.